National Food Security Research, Honorable High Commissioner of Sri Lanka to Pakistan, His Excellency Nuruddin Muhammad Shahi, Honorable Ms. Yasoja Gunasekara, Economic Affairs Division, Sri Lanka, Lieutenant General Zahirul Islam, Global Strategic Studies Chairman, dear friends and colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum, Ayo Muwan, and a very good evening. I'd first like to thank the Center for Global and Strategic Studies for giving me this opportunity to address this August gathering, which I am honored to do. Having heard the speakers before me, they have taken out 1/3 part of my speech, and I really don't know what to say on many areas. And particularly the warmth just displayed by Ms. Yasoja Gunasekara says it all. Let me add a different facet of Sri Lankan life, which most of you may not know, what one feels when he goes to Sri Lanka. As one arrives in this island country, which was named Sarandeep by the Arab traders, very rightly so, and from which serendipity came out as a word, one is struck by its natural beauty, vegetation, waterfalls, rivers, and particularly its people. They are humble, polite, and live close to nature. Ladies and gentlemen, when you arrive in this country, you genuinely feel that you are out of 21st century speed, intensity. You really feel you are off a roller coaster and on a plain, comfortable road. This is what Sri Lanka is. The people of Sri Lanka live close to nature, so much so that while constructing roads, they will divert the roads but not cut the trees. In my house in Sri Lanka, the wall had been redesigned to let a branch of the mango tree grow out, and it was not cut. So it goes with the animals. Surprisingly, you can walk close to a wild dog. It neither would run away nor would you bother him. So that's the kind of natural relationship which is there. This is a small example, but it's a very touching one. This harmony continues further in the religions. There are 4 religions which strongly exist in this country: Buddhism, Hinduism, Christianity, and Muslims. And all the 4 live in a very harmonious way. The people of one religion will attend the festivities of others. All festivities of various religions are public holiday. It never happens in any other country but Sri Lanka. And gentlemen, this is the same country with such harmony, which such polite people faced one of the worst insurgencies of the modern times. 30 years of cruelest insurgency went through, and not only they went through, they resolutely defeated it, and defeated it comprehensively. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the same country which houses people like Dr. Hudson De Silva, who formally launched his Sri Lankan Eye Donation Society in 1961. It provides eyes for the blind of the world, and approximately 26,000 Pakistanis are blessed to be seeing today as they are recipients of these eyes donated by the society. In addition to this, over 1.6 million Sri Lankans stand in the list of donors who have given their consent to provide eyes on their demise. Sri Lanka is the country which houses Adam's Peak, a place worth visiting and seeing. It really touches anybody who goes there. In addition to above, it has already been said, Pakistan and Sri Lanka have a strong cultural and civilization bondage because of the Taxila and Takhbai civilizations. Buddhism grew again from Taxila. Otherwise, 300 years later, it might have died down if it was not reborn in Taxila. At this point, I'd like to bring out the message of Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah on the occasion of then Sri Lanka's independence on 4th February 1948, and I quote, "Pakistan has the warmest goodwill towards Sri Lanka, and I am sanguine that the good feeling which exists between our two people will be further strengthened as the years roll by and will bring us into still closest friendship." Quaid-e-Azam was prophesizing, every word came true. Many of you may not know that Pakistan was the first country visited by Ceylon's then Prime Minister, Mr. T.S. Senanayake, in 1948. Our unique relationship has evolved in accordance with the vision of our founding fathers. These relations are being further strengthened by various institutional mechanisms in bilateral, regional, and international context. Pakistan still remembers the strong support extended by the government and people of Sri Lanka in 1971. Despite external pressures, it gives me great satisfaction to recall that Pakistan too was able to extend its military support to the people and the government of Sri Lanka when this great nation faced threats of terrorism and succession. Pakistan also stood in UN to defend Sri Lanka at various sessions of Human Rights Council from 2012 to 2014, and also in Commonwealth Head of Government meeting in Perth 2011. And we are honored that Mr. Zamir Akram, who took this fight, is sitting amongst us here today. Our multifaceted relations are firmly established on the basis of sincerity, mutual trust, feeling of empathy, and desire to help each other through thick and thin. And this is the bedrock of secure relations among these two countries. We have done it all. Respected audience, I'll just quickly touch over the economic relations. The earliest diplomatic and trade relations between Pakistan date back to 1948. I'll just touch some of the landmarks from 1971 onwards. In 1974, Pakistan and Sri Lanka signed a joint economic commission. In 1977, Pakistan and Sri Lanka went into an agreement for promotion and protection of investment. Building further on, two countries signed free trade agreement as far back as 2002, but it was operationalized in 2005. In 2010, a bilateral agreement was signed on cooperation and mutual administrative assistance in custom matters, and also for cooperation between the Federation of Pakistan Chambers of Commerce and Industries and their Sri Lankan counterparts. When President Sirisena arrived in Pakistan in 2015, the two countries decided to set a bilateral trade target of $1 billion. We haven't ever met our due position as far as trade is concerned, and there is a lot of scope still to expand this area of between the two countries. So the target was set for $1 billion, and to realize this objective, Pakistan on its part started a single country exhibition in Colombo from January 16 onwards. The first was attended by our then Prime Minister, Mr. Nawaz Sharif, and this exhibition was held at Bandra Institute in Colombo every year for 3 following years. At the Expo 2017 at Lahore, there were 25 Sri Lankan business delegates and 8 major companies which came and participated. It all helped towards the objective set for $1 billion trade target. Major exports of Pakistan to Sri Lanka have always been yarn, fabric, cement, pharmaceutical, and these are the areas in which there is scope for expansion. And similarly from Sri Lanka we have fruits, vegetable, oilseed, crude rubble, crude vegetable, and tea, which has taken a dip. Ladies and gentlemen, Sri Lanka has 75% of its power coming from the wind, from the water and rivers. So there is a lot of scope for wind power and wind power plants and hydro plants for them to come and install in Pakistan. And one is privy to two of them who are already working here. Pakistan have also signed a $200 million credit line in 2010, but this was not operationalized. And in 2015, the first joint coordination committee met, and later on 9th May 2017, they met again to finalize 3 sectors in which this money is to be spent, that is agriculture, livestock, science and technology. Pakistan has been giving Jira scholarship in Sri Lanka for the last 10 years, and about 24,000 rupees per month, per year is given to students. Hundreds of students have benefited from this. Another major initiative called Knowledge Corridor was approved in 2016, in which 800 Sri Lankan students will be getting fully funded scholarships and 200 partially funded scholarships in Pakistan. This initiative will also entail exchange program of faculty members of government officials, establishment of Gandhara Civilization Department in Colombo University, and holding of Education Expo in Colombo. A regular feature of our dynamic relationship with Sri Lanka has been the exchange of visits at the leadership level. If I start counting, then it is studded with events since 48 till today. The last visit was of our Prime Minister in January 2016. He was accompanied by high-level delegation comprising Minister of Commerce, Minister of Defense, Advisor to Prime Minister on Foreign Affairs, and National Security Advisor. The Prime Minister held delegation-level talks with the President and Prime Minister. The two sides agreed to enhance the bilateral relationship to strategic level. Sri Lankan side deeply appreciated the initiative to help Sri Lanka develop its higher education and higher thinking through a knowledge corridor and achieving food security with Pakistan's assistance. Those two sides inked 8 agreements and MOUs in the fields of trade, culture, health and gem and jewelry, science and technology, narcotics, and terror financings. In addition to this, the depth of our relationship is evident from the Sri Lanka-Pakistan Parliamentary Friendship Association, a multi-party caucus of 30 members established in Colombo on November 2007. On similar lines, Sri Lanka-Pakistan friendship groups have been established in the Senate and National Assembly of Pakistan. The Prime Minister of Pakistan met with an all-party parliamentary delegation led by Mr. Speaker Karu Jayasuriya during his visit to Sri Lanka on 5th January 2016. The Speaker later led a 40-member delegation with leading Buddhist monks of Sri Lanka in April 2016. A regular interaction between Parliament of the two countries augurs well for the future of our relationship. Now I move to a different area. Sri Lanka enjoys a key position in the Indian Ocean, has been repeated, and you all know it very well in view of the new OPEC and OBOR and CPEC initiative. Pakistan desires enhanced maritime cooperation with Sri Lanka and seeks increased engagement between the armed forces of our two countries. Pakistan continues to offer training facilities to the Sri Lankan armed forces, police, and other institutions. Sri Lanka has been one of the largest importers of defense products up to 2009. Over 7,000 Sri Lankan defense persons have received training in Pakistan to date on gratis basis. There is regular exchange of high-level visits between the heads of armed forces of the two countries. Sri Lanka has regularly participated in Pakistan Navy exercise Aman, as well as defense exhibition ideas. Pakistan naval vessels regularly call on Sri Lankan ports as a goodwill gesture, and we regularly attend the Gold Dialogue, which is a major seminar for blue water activities. In addition to strengthening the defense setup, Pakistan leadership has continuously been alive to the needs of brotherly country and always reached out in the difficult times. It has already been said, but let me put on record some of the near-time events. When the tsunami hit Sri Lanka and adjoining countries, Pakistan Navy constituted an expeditionary force comprising helicopters and a field hospital with a marine platoon and a platoon of naval SSG for relief operations. In 2017, again, devastating floods and mudslides triggered by rainfalls in Sri Lanka wreaked havoc and caused 117 deaths, and about 500,000 people were affected. Pakistan's naval ship Zulfikar was on sea and was diverted from there and came and joined in for relief operations. In 2017, President Sirisena requested Pakistan for rice. The moment I forwarded the request to Pakistan, it was promptly met and 25 metric ton rice was lifted by air, and remaining 10,000 metric tons of rice was shipped separately through sea in March and April. Later, the short of fertilizer was also met by Pakistan in 2017 on emergency basis. So this is a continuous thing which probably not comes to the light, but the strong sentiments which exist in the leadership of the two countries results in these events. Excellencies and honorable audience, today we stand at a point where new opportunities await us. Old order is diluting and new order and new opportunities are emerging, which I don't want to repeat, but we must take hold of it, of the evolving situation, and make the best of it for the two countries. So I'd like to leave few points. The two countries need to launch the strategic dialogue for forging closer strategic ties in areas of trade, commerce, higher education, tourism, science and technology, and defense cooperation. Let me tell about defense cooperation that the strategic talks, the staff level talks which were scheduled every year have now been raised to strategic level talks. So the cooperation is steadily moving forward. Being vibrant democracies, the role of Parliament in promotion of friendship and cooperation between two nations is important. It is satisfying that Pakistan-Sri Lanka parliamentary friendship group exists in our respective parliaments. One would like to see greater exchanges between our parliaments so as to they learn from each other, and it is to the benefit of the two countries. For my Pakistani audience particularly, there is a huge scope to maximize blue water economy and to maintain order in Indian Ocean through active collaboration with China. Pakistan is yet to get into blue water economy, and we have very little effort in this direction, even visible today. But that's a huge area that we must capitalize. Pakistan offers substantial tourism opportunities to our Sri Lankan brothers, particularly religious tourism. There is a lot of movement there to come to Taxila and Takhbai, and we have to step into this and make it a greater reality than what it is today. The two countries have agreed on the inclusion of services and investment chapters in bilateral FTA. This would enable our companies to form joint ventures for export to third countries. This point has to be noted by our business class and make best of this available opportunity. While warm relations and historical events augur well for future, but it is important to understand the evolving world with its opportunities and maximize our mutual gains. With that, I thank you all. Thank you very much.